A heavy metal drummer's life is thrown into freefall when he begins to lose his hearing. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. I'm here today to give you all my spoiler-free review for the new drama Sound of Metal, which will be available in theaters November 20th and also available to stream on Amazon Prime December 4th. Very excited to let you all know what I thought about it and if you should check it out. But before we dive into the details, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. That way you all can stay up to date of what's going on over here at Movie Files. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other movie reviews, TV coverage, live streams, all the fun things we do on this channel. It would mean a lot to me if you all can share this video as well as give this video a thumbs up. Helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. And in the comments, this film did premiere at TIFF last year, so if you got the chance to see it at the film festival last year, let me know what you all thought about the movie. But again, if you didn't see it, and if you are able to see it in theaters November 20th, or when you see it on Amazon December 4th, let me know your pros, your cons. What did you think of the performances and story? Let's have a discussion about this film in the comments below. So Sound of Metal was a film I knew nothing about. I just knew that Riz Ahmed was in this film. I'm a big fan of his. I knew Olivia Cook was in it, and all I just remember seeing for like the past 6 or 7 months was just the poster. So I assume he's in a band, he's a drummer, but that's all I knew. So I went to this extremely cold, and I'm here to let you all know if it's worth checking out. So with that being said, let's get into the positives. So let's kick off the positives, discussing the performances, starting off with Riz Ahmed as Ruben Stone, a recovering addict of 4 years who's on tour with his girlfriend, and they have a band together, and he slowly begins to lose his hearing, which leads him back into his addictive ways. So when it comes to Riz Ahmed, I'm such a big fan of his work. I've been looking at his career for a very long time. I mean, he's an actor, he's a producer, he's a writer, he's a rapper, he's a very talented individual. But when it comes to films, I remember back in, 2014 when we got Nightcrawler, very, very fantastic film if you haven't seen that, with him and Jake Gyllenhaal. Incredible movie. But going to that and then seeing him transition into some bigger blockbusters, whether it be Rogue One, whether it be Venom. But I think my favorite performance of his that I've seen so far of his great career, in my opinion, is in 2016's HBO limited series, The Night Of. That was my favorite performance until I saw this movie. This is my favorite performance by Riz Ahmed. He absolutely embodied this character. It was an incredible journey from beginning all the way to the end. So watching and seeing our main character, Ruben, slowly lose his hearing, which means that he's going to probably lose the tour that he's on with his band, which then in return might mean that he loses his girlfriend, also his best friend, Lou, which then also mean he'll probably go back to his addictive ways and relying on drugs. So watching Riz Ahmed as Ruben Stone was absolutely incredible. From the very beginning of this movie, you know who this person is, right? You can see that at this point in his life, at the beginning of this movie, he's happy. He has his music, he has his band, he has his girlfriend, they have their life in their RV. But as he starts to lose his hearing, all those things that were important to him are slowly going away. So now Ruben's kind of reverting back to his old ways, which are his addictive ways. And Lou, his girlfriend, played by Olivia Cook, who we'll talk about her in a bit, she realizes that. So she suggests that Ruben checks himself into a facility, a recovery facility, which also serves as, which he didn't know, serves as a deaf community. And then seeing just that journey of him getting himself into the facility, him also learning more about the deaf community, learning sign language, being okay with the idea of silence and being sitting down and being still. Again, just watching this journey, seeing this character's arc. Again, I'm going to touch on the message a little bit later, but just because you're deaf doesn't mean your life is ending. It just means you have to adjust your life. So seeing that adjustment in this character was just such a feat to see. And again, the performance by Riz Ahmed is his best performance of his career, in my personal opinion. So I was just absolutely floored by that performance. So with that being said, I want to kind of transition into some of our other characters, which serves as the supporting characters in this movie. Starting with Olivia Cook as Lou, Ruben's girlfriend, who sees Ruben going back to his old habits, and she's the one that suggests that he goes to this facility as well as this deaf community. But also, you learn in this film that Lou has her own demons to deal with. And when it comes to Olivia Cook, I've always been a fan of her. I think she's such a giving actor. Whenever I see her in a role, she always allows the audience into her character's soul. I think she's just, whether it be a leading character, whether it be a supporting character, a cameo, she always leaves a good impression for me. And I thought that her journey, her kind of codependency, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the relationship that Lou and Ruben has, I thought that she was a great addition to this cast. I thought she gave a great performance in this role, which also brings me into Joe, who's the head of this AA kind of recovery center, but also serves as the leader of this deaf community. I thought that he was fantastic. I'm not too familiar with the actor, Paul Raci, but I thought all the scenes that he had with Ruben, whether they were intense scenes, funny scenes, emotional scenes, I thought that they had really great on-screen chemistry. I thought that Joe was a really good addition to Ruben in one of the most pivotal parts of his life. So characters, the development, the acting was incredible. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the story and also the themes without giving too much away in the spoilers. So I personally felt the way this film tackled disabilities and addiction was incredible. So speaking of the disability aspect of this film, watching our main character Ruben, someone that's lived their entire life with the ability to hear, but seeing him lose that ability, right? And seeing the movie kind of show and tackle the idea of changing and adjusting his lifestyle and how accepting the deaf community was to him and how it wasn't life ending. It was just a life adjustment that he had to make. And once he made that adjustment, you can still live your life to the fullest. I thought that the way that this film tackled disabilities was fantastic. And then switching gears into the addiction aspect of this film. Now, you don't necessarily see Ruben revert back to drug usage, but you see that he finds things to become addicted to, whether that be being addicted to getting back to his band, getting back to being a drummer, even though the doctors tell him to stop playing the drums because you're losing your hearing in doing so. So you see that addictive personality getting his music back. You see that with him trying to get $40,000 to $80,000 to get implants in his ear so he can get his hearing back as well. So he's finding these things that, again, they're not necessarily drugs or alcohol, but he's finding things to latch onto and becoming kind of toxic. And that kind of brings me to this relationship that he has with Lou. Again, Olivia Cook and Ruben, you know, when it comes to Riz Ahmed, their chemistry was fantastic. And when it comes to this relationship, it wasn't a toxic relationship, but they both depended on each other so much that it became an addiction of being a part of this relationship. So again, the way this film tackles disabilities, the way this film tackles addiction, I thought was really well done. So a couple other things I definitely want to highlight in my positives. One being the incredible sound mixing in this movie. When we're seeing Ruben slowly losing his hearing and him trying to do everyday life things and him not being able to hear, but the way the audio kind of cut in and out and is very distorted was very effective in a lot of the scenes. I thought the sound mixing again was incredible. But I also want to talk about first-time director Darius Marder, who I thought was incredible. Very creative, very experimental when it came to his crafting of the shots. I thought that this man did a fantastic job in directing this film, and I'm excited to see what he does next. So those are my positives. I want to kind of transition to some things that really didn't work for me, get into the criticisms. This is kind of a selfish kind of criticism. I really enjoyed Olivia Cook and Riz Ahmed on screen. I wish we would have got more of them on screen, whether it be them on the road, them being in the band, them being a couple more on screen. When they were on screen, they were very effective, but I wish we would have got a little bit more screen time with them because I thought their chemistry was fantastic, but also I thought Olivia Cook was really good. I wish we would have got more of that character. But something that does kind of come to mind as far as a negative, this film clocks in at right around 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now, I don't think the film had an issue with pacing, but I think it could have maybe trimmed 10 to 15 minutes off, especially kind of within that first half and that second half. I thought there were some scenes that were effective, but could have probably been taken out because it really didn't do much for the overarching kind of storytelling. So I thought if the film would have maybe, again, trimmed off maybe 10 to 15 minutes, it would have been a little bit more of a tighter story. I thought that 210, again, I wasn't bored at any point, but I thought that they could have probably trimmed it down a little bit. But those are just some minor things. So before I give you my overall thoughts, my score, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my other reviews for TVs and movies and also live streams that we do on this very channel. With that being said, let me give you my overall thoughts and my score for this film. So overall, Riz Ahmed gives the best performance of his career so far. The direction was really solid. The supporting cast added a lot to the film. The film, to me, handles addiction with so much authenticity, but also shows the importance of community, but also displaying the strength and the resilience within the deaf community. It may be considered a bit of a slow burn at times for some people, but for me personally, the conclusion that we get with Ruben's journey is incredibly satisfying and a powerful way of showing the power of silence. So with that being said, I'm going to give The Sound of Metal a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend you all give this movie a shot. I know it's available in theaters November 20th, so if you feel safe enough, if your area is still showing movies at the theater, I definitely recommend you all give this a watch. But definitely when it becomes available on December 4th on Amazon Prime, I can't recommend it enough. So that's my thoughts on Sound of Metal. Great performance, really great film all in all, and I'm just really excited for you all to see this film. So once you've seen it, let me know your pros, your cons, what you think of the performances. Let me know some of your criticisms, and let's have a great discussion about it in the comments below. With that being said, make sure you all like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other content. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you all in the next video.